Courtesy of Westwood One, Iron Eagle with the call, the great analysis by Ross Tucker, who's kind enough to join us. This is your Do You Believe in Miracles moment, Ross Tucker. With you summed it up without saying a word. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. It's funny, you know this as well as anyone, right? You're taught as a color commentator to never step on the play-by-play guy, right? You let the play-by-play guy make the call. You don't ruin the moment. It's especially the case in radio because people can't see what's going on. Dan, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. And afterwards, I said to Iron Eagle and my producer, Howie Deneroff, I said, guys, I'm sorry. And they said, absolutely not. That was great. That was authentic. That was genuine. Because I know, Dan, you're not quote unquote supposed to do that. But that might have been the funniest thing I've ever seen on an NFL football field. You just don't see that. And you could see it coming for 15 yards. The rest of the clip, I said, and I'm sorry, but I saw it coming for 15 yards. He got out over his skis, which I thought was the best way to describe it.
You're supposed to use words, but no matter what the words were, they weren't going to capture the moment. And that's why when you say, hey, I just laughed. We were laughing with you at the time. So I wouldn't feel bad about it. I think if you're going to describe something, you described it perfectly by just laughing.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of like on social media and text messages. You know how like emojis are better a lot of times than any words you can put, the tears or shrug or whatever. I guess that's what the laughing was. I'm getting a lot of people texting me and tweets at Ross Tucker NFL about it. I got to be honest with you, Dan. I am just very happy that the Giants scored a touchdown on that drive. Can you imagine? I've met Daniel Jones. He's a good young man. Can you imagine if the Giants lost in the fashion that they lost, but that they had to settle for a field goal on that drive? I mean, he already feels bad enough. They lost and he had an all-time stumble, but it would have been even worse if they didn't score a touchdown there. And the one other thing I'll point out, we confirmed this last night. That was history last night, Dan. That was the longest non-scoring run for a quarterback since at least the merger in the NFL, the longest non-scoring run. And I saw where Ian Rappaport just tweeted that it was the fastest run by a quarterback in a couple of years, which you're like, wait a minute, how could he be faster than Lamar Jackson? But I guess he got up to 21.5 miles per hour and got over his skis a little bit.
I go back to, I think Mark Malone. Does Mark Malone hold the record, Paulie? Did you remember the Steeler quarterback, Mark Malone?
Yes.
I think he had like a upper 80s, low 90-yard touchdown run in a game. I think he might have the longest record. Did you guys?
No, he did. He did. I think, though, Terrell Pryor, when he was starting quarterback for the Raiders, went 90-something against the Colts.
Okay.
I think Terrell Pryor knocked Mark Malone out of the
record.
I mean, Terrell Pryor's not even really a quarterback, but he was for a few games for the Raiders, so I guess he gets credit for that.
And I looked at this, and I know Daniel Jones, and we'll laugh at this, and it's going to stay with him the rest of his career. Evan Engram is the one who should be embarrassed, because if he makes that catch that Jones put it right in his hands, they win this game. That, to me, is more embarrassing than what Daniel Jones did. Jones is not used to running 80 yards. Evan Ingram's a tight end. Catch the ball, you win the game.
Well, and earlier than that, Dan, there was a blitz. Daniel Jones threw it to Engram. It popped right off Ingram's chest, and that was the Jalen Mills interception.
Yeah.
Ingram's a really talented kid. He just can't put it together. And Daniel Jones, that's one right there. I'm okay with talking about wins and losses as a quarterback stat. It's not a great stat. It's not even a good stat. But I'm okay mentioning it. But that's one right there. Daniel Jones did what he had to do. He put it right in the basket for Evan Engram.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. The Daniel Jones thing, Dan, that's funny. The Evan Engram thing, there's nothing funny about that at all. I mean, that's just awful for a professional tight end to drop that pass.
You're at West Point today?
I am, and I'm doing the Army game tomorrow. It's my 5th one this year, and I have heard you wax poetic about it multiple times. I love it. I'm at the Thayer Hotel on campus overlooking Buffalo Soldier Field, which is where the cadets do a lot of their intramural sports. Would you like to see it, Dan?
Yes, I would.
All right.
Ross joining us
Hopefully
via
this is a
Zoom.
good look.
And there it is. Oh, look at the foliage there.
Wow.
I like it. And I've stayed at that hotel. And you can walk over to the stadium. You can walk on campus there. That's a treat.
Yeah, so you see that field right there, that field I was just showing?
Yeah.
And you know this. For home games, typically it's all cars. It's all cars, and they're tailgating. And the gate, you have to go through the security gate to get on post, as you know. It's usually backed up for miles. Dan, it's been eerie to wake up on Saturday mornings, not a single solitary car. Not one car trying to get through the gate because they're not allowing fans other than the cadets. I'm just glad the cadets are there because they bring the energy. It's been cool to have some energy at the games.
Paulie and I were just discussing during the commercial break. Can we get in if we go up?
Yeah, I think you probably could. I think you could get a media day pass because there are people that come. You guys are media.
I'm media. Paulie would be my plus one.
I don't think that you would. I don't think they'd have you sit in the stands, but I think that they would have a socially distanced spot for you in, like, the press box or the luxury box. I mean, come on, Dan. You're Dan Patrick. I'm pretty sure I can text the AD if you want me to, but I texted Paulie. I tweeted Paulie a couple weeks ago. He said we were 6 days away from peak foliage. Paulie's starting a new company that you text him where you are, and he'll tell you the exact peak day of foliage for that town. So I think we might have peak foliage. So check out CBS Sports Network tomorrow at noon.
Thank you, bud. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
That's
All right.
Ross Tucker. He'll be on the call. Army against Mercer.